Hey everyone, Nero here with another Risk of Rain 2 video. Today we're going to be taking a look at my first Artificer E8 run and talking about it, discussing the things in it. The footage in the background is sped up to about 2 times speed to save you guys some time. Don't need you sitting through a 58-minute video with me rambling on. So this run starts off pretty good. It's not so bad. It's Titanic Plains, so not going to get as much loot as you need with Cycle Cores, but that's okay. The big thing here is that Speed Cola, the energy drink, because it's just mobility is important, especially on Artificer, especially in the early game, because you don't want to get to stage 3 and have like a 0 mobility, because you get boofed on by one Greater Wisp or one Elder Lemurian, and you're basically screwed, so yeah. For those who don't understand what E8 is, essentially Risk of Rain 2 has a bunch of modifiers to make the game even more difficult than Monsoon difficulty. There's Eclipse levels 1 through 8, and you have to complete each one before you can play on the next one. So obviously it goes from 1 to 8, surprise. And Eclipse 8 adds a permanent damage modifier per stage. So as you can see in the bottom left, I have a broken shield next to my health bar, and there is a whiteout section on my health bar that is damage that I can no longer recover on this stage. So it makes the game a little more difficult. I think E8 is, honestly, it's not as difficult as some of the other Eclipse levels. Personally, for me, Eclipse 6 is one of the most difficult, which, or I would say it was the one that I had the trouble adjusting to the most, and it's the one where you get reduced income for killing monsters. It's just a lot more difficult, and you waste a lot more time trying to open chests and buy items because you're just not making as much money as you would in a normal run or in any other Eclipse difficulty underneath that. Obviously, that stays. The Eclipse 6 modifier stacks all the way to Eclipse 8, so it's just that's how Eclipse works, yeah. But that's probably the most difficult one. That one, or the enemies have less cooldown, which is Eclipse 7. The rest are all fairly simple, like don't take fall damage, blah blah, so it's like, it's not that bad. The one thing I want to really stress about this run is that I am by no means a god of Risk of Rain 2. I am not a professional. I only have like 450 hours, and that's since I purchased the game all the way back when it was first announced, so I'm not like a streamer level, Woolly Gaming level guy. But I wouldn't say I'm trash either. I just Artificer is definitely one of the. She's the second most character I play next to Huntress, because Huntress is just so much fun. I love Huntress, but I like Artificer for the exact opposite reason why I like Huntress, because you have to be kind of, I wouldn't say strategic, but you have to. It's not just like point, click, and shoot, right? You have to be a little bit better at aiming, you have to be a little bit better at cooldown rotation, and a lot of interesting stuff. So right here you can see that I traded the rose buckler I got from the first stage for a wax coil. This is huge because I'm not playing on Huntress, or any other character for that matter, and I don't really have a lot of speed. The rose buckler simply serves no purpose, or it doesn't serve as good of a purpose as the wax coil does. That little jump boost in mobility is absolutely key in for this run. It really helps me out later, and the rose buckler just wouldn't have done as much as the wax coil does. But you can kind of already tell, it's like, wow, he wastes a lot of time like looking for items. And I want to stress that people really say that, oh, you need to keep all your stages 5 minutes is the key. If you keep every stage at 5 minutes, then you're good, you're gonna win. I disagree with that statement. Is it good to try to get out as fast as you can? Yes, but I think it's more so good to be efficient, but it's better to get as many items as you can, because if you continue to rush the teleporter, your difficulty is going to go up regardless. The difficulty always extends if you hit the teleporter. It doesn't matter if you hit it at 0 seconds or 10 minutes. The difficulty will always increase, and it just increases linearly with the amount of time you spend. So I think getting, 3 or 4 more useful items by scouting out the rest of the stage is better than just rushing through it. Just because more items means more damage or more speed, or I blocked that wisp shot. So it's like, I feel like the more items, the better. Obviously, that's not an excuse to go look through the freaking netherworld of the stage and all the nooks and crannies. No, that's probably not a good idea. Like I said, you don't want to waste time. Like, we'll see after this teleporter fight that I waste a lot of time looking for the second button, because you see the first one right there next to that stone titan. But I spend so much time looking for that first button for no reason. Here I actually end up using the volcanic egg as a damage item, which I never do. Like I said, I've played over 450 hours of this game. I've never used the volcanic egg to fly through wisps like I'm some kind of superhero. So it really did help me clear out the stage with Flame Bolt's cooldown and my lack of aiming on Artificer. It is rough, and to have that volcanic egg help me out there was super beneficial. Obviously, I would prefer any other equipment like ATG missile launcher, or what do you call it? Lightning in a jar. Man, I can't think right now. It is early in the morning when I'm recording this, but we're doing it live. So there I had to make a cut because I was getting a drink of water. And we're on Scorched Acres now. That was a very good last stage. You can tell kind of by the loot. I mean, the second half of the loot is not good at all, but having that ice band, that armor-piercing round, that crit, and the scythe is just so imperative to my damage. After getting basically no damage items except for a watch on stage 1, it is that one ice band is such a boost, and it's the primary reason why I just stopped looking for that second button and just left after getting everything, because one ice band on Artificer is good enough. She has her freeze, and with the ice band, that's just, you're basically good to go. You can pretty much kill Mithrix no problem right now. But I'm going to simply hoard more items because that's just how I play this game. Now, funny enough, a lot of people hate on Scorched Acres, and I do think it's the weakest of the stage 3 stages, especially for Artificer. Artificer has a lot of vertical mobility, right? Especially if you take Ion Surge, her kit is just perfect for vertical mobility. So she's actually really good on Scorched Acres. And on top of that, with the new DLC, Scorched Acres actually doesn't have any of the cringe enemies, like the blind pests and blind vermins and whatever, that are now on Rally Point. And sulfur pools, I love sulfur pools, but with the blind pests and the alpha constructs, it just can get overwhelming, especially for a character with low mobility like Artificer. Like the vertical mobility of Ion Surge, enemies can still hit you. It's not like the blink from Huntress or the roll from Commando, right? It's a lot more difficult to evade enemy attacks with Ion Surge. It's more so used for, you kill something and you're out of the way, the other things don't notice you, so you get a minute to breathe and get your cooldowns back up. So here we have Imp Overlord, blah blah blah, nothing to really talk about. I was really hoping for a Shatter Spleen, but obviously I did not get that because I'm talking about how I wanted it right now. These first 3 stages were a absolute breeze to get through. I really had no issue. I definitely wasted some time on stage 2 and stage 3, but I don't really count it as so much of a waste because things don't really become an issue till stage 4, and it only becomes an issue because I do a stupid, which we'll see later. But the biggest thing here from stage 3 is the items that I got. So you clearly saw that I spent time scrapping. scrapping is the most important part of Risk of Rain 2 at this point. The ability to diversify your kit on your own will, so it removes the RNG element just a tad bit in exchange for actually being able to be strategic. Like, I didn't need those 5 white items or that squid polyp, so like they weren't helping me at all. So why have them when I could find a really good printer somewhere, right? So even if it's on the next stage. So I think having excess scrap is important. Do I think it's good to remove items that you think are unnecessary but really aren't? No, especially if you're struggling in a run. I wouldn't remove important items, even if you're not really using them. Like, I wouldn't remove Monster Teeth or something, because you never know when you might pick up a Monster Teeth ball and it heals you and saves your life, right? Especially in close quarters areas like Eclipse with the reduced teleporter radius. But if you're just breezing through stuff, then I would recommend getting rid of quite a bit of your items that don't really impact your run anymore. And yeah, we get Abyssal Depths, my favorite stage 4 stage. I love it on every character because if the doors are open, God, you get so much more loot. And it's better than having to fight an ally worship unit for your red item if you decide to get the red item, which some people don't. I don't blame it. It does take a lot of time, and it's honestly the reason that I almost lose this run in this game, because I decide to take some combat shrines and they don't go too well. Our first raid item ends up being from a big chest, and it's the Rejuve Rack, which negates the 4th Eclipse modifier, which is reduced healing. So you take half the reduced healing, and Rejuve Rack doubles your healing. So I'm basically at regular monsoon healing now at this point. Also, if you saw, I switched the Volcanic Egg for the Saw Blade just for that extra damage. The Volcanic Egg, while useful for mobility, I just felt like I was lacking damage, and the Saw with its bleed is just perfect. And here's where everything starts to go downhill a little bit. So I have 0 AoE. I know it's hard to tell with the 2x speed going on, but I'm really missing a lot of my shots, and like hordes of enemies are spawning. So I feel like this ukulele, I'm like, yes, this ukulele is going to help me big time. And I just beat that last combat shrine in like 2 seconds. So I'm going to take this other combat shrine because I want that money for that legendary chest. And it spawns like 18 brass contraptions, and they start boofing on me like instantly. Like, I'm glad I got rid of the mending guy, but I missed that, and boom, lose my watch. I'm at 50 health. I really thought I was going to lose, so I absolutely leave. I see the AP printer and I want to use it, but honestly, I don't want to die. Yeah, the good news is that my slug and the Rejuve Rack are absolutely carrying, so I'm basically back up to good health, and we get the best item for Artificer, in my opinion. Alien Head. So now my cooldowns are reduced, and that's imperative on Artificer, because guess what? Her entire kit is based around cooldowns. Surprise, you know? If I could take lunar items, or if I allowed myself to take lunar items, I'd be scouting out for purities as well, just because that cooldown is so essential. Like, if you could just shoot out Flame Bolt like a commando pistol, then you really have no issues playing Artificers and playing any of the other easier characters, in my opinion. But so it's beneficial. Is it as beneficial as some of the other raid items? Not so much. I feel like a Symbiotic Scorpion's always good, and Heartlight Afterburner's great on Artificer for Mithrix specifically, just because more ice walls means more freezing Mithrix in place. So it's a good stall. It's a better stall. So not like stall for Minecraft. Maybe like stall for Minecraft. So yeah, I got a bunch of junk. Not really much to talk about. No. Yes. This Gup decides that it wants to follow me across the entire map, and I end up like it. For some reason, at this point, I don't have like a lot of damage, as much damage as I would like. So things are getting like harder and harder to kill. So I have to keep pulling the COD zombies and like running away and trying to loot things, dealing damage, running away and trying to loot things. Eventually, I just get kind of fed up with it, and I start to teleporter. Which probably wasn't the best idea, but it definitely was the best idea, because, the longer you stay on a stage, the worse it gets. And as you can see, I picked up a second alien head from another big chest. This is absolutely insane RNG. Like, usually I don't even get a single red item on any run, much less a E8 run. So it's wild to see that I picked up 3 on one stage. And of course, it being a second alien head, again, really, really useful on Artificer, just because that cooldown is just so essential to her kit. So having that reduction is just absolutely baller. I think some of the... And here's where I almost died again, because I was just getting boofed on. Like, look how many enemies there are. I know it's hard to tell, like I said, with the 2 times speed going on. But there was like 12 geeps, and inside all those geeps were a bunch of Lemurians, and I'm getting swarmed by hermit crabs. So I start doing these freaking like little circles around the teleporter to try to not die. Like, I was genuinely sweating at this point. Like, I thought that the run was going to be over. I was ready to pack. I wasn't ready to pack it in, but I was like, gosh, I'm gonna like take one wrong step and I'm gonna get boofed on by like a hermit crab, and that's gonna be it. Because look, I only have 300 health, and while it's more than like a huntress, it's not good. It really helped that I got a neural. Like, obviously would have liked something better, like an ATG or something like that, like 100%. But just having this a little bit of extra healing always goes a long way when trying not to die. But so does damage, so I can't really contradict myself. So on stage 5, we get a Void Seed. Yippee! It's not so bad. I don't mind Void Seed. I actually enjoy them to a certain extent because Void items are just kind of broken. Except for you, Void, man. So I was really hoping that I could get a really good Void item, like a Polyloot or a Plasma Shrimp. Although, if I had 1 or 2 ATGs right now in this run as Artificer, I wouldn't take the Plasma Shrimp, just because some characters, I feel like the Plasma Shrimp may not be as beneficial as the ATG, especially if you have a Clover. Those characters would be these non-consistent damage-dealing characters. So Artificer, Loader, those are the only ones I can think of right now. Artificer and Loader. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, Loader can deal out a crap ton of damage with her like charge punch, and getting an ATG to proc off of that is just 10 times better than a plimp. And Artificer doesn't have consistent out damage, right? She has to damage, wait, damage, wait, you know, whereas someone like Commando or Multi, you just hold down right click, baby. You hold down left click, you know, and you just get spawned infinite plimps off of that. So, obviously, it's a matter of the situation that's going on, you know. If I need damage, I need damage. If I have plenty, you know, and all the character, it's just very dependent on plimp for me. But is it one of the best void items? By far. That and Polyloot are just that good. And also Encrusted Key. Nobody really talks about Encrusted Key, but that one's only good if, you know, you have more stages to go to pick up basically a void item of your choice. So, loot on this stage so far is pretty garbage. Wake of Vultures, garbage. You know, the Hoof is really good. Or it's okay so much, because I already have 2 energy drinks, so I'm not too concerned about movement speed at this point. The Hope and Feather's good, but not necessary, because I'm Artificer with Ion Surge, so I can just use Ion Surge. But it's useful. I'm not going to die its usefulness. The Watch just replaces the Broken Watch from before. And it really, so there's not really a lot to go off of. Another Hoof is good, just means I get to Mithrix faster, you know. A lot of this is just about, at this point, can I get to Mithrix? And I'm not really having an issue anymore. This fight, just like the last teleporter fight, gets kind of kooky. And not because of the boss, because the bosses die in less than a minute. It's all these mushrooms that just spawn, and I feel like I was playing on swarms in the last 2 levels. Because, God, there were so many enemies, and it's not like they got killed in 5 seconds. They all had to, like, wait their turn for me to do single target damage to them, because my only AoE is a 1 ukulele. So, Yeah, I don't know what was going on with the director. Did it make it more difficult? Yes. Was it a lot more fun? Maybe. It was definitely heart pumping. That's for sure. Because I really thought I was gonna get moved on. Like no questions asked. Like there, like 20 alpha constructs spawn. Like, why did so many alpha constructs spawn at that one given moment? Like, what was the point of that? And also, I don't know if this is just me, but I feel like after I complete Sky Meadows, the Alpha Constructs usually stop trying to fight you, you know? They usually just close up, shield up, and then you can walk right by them without any issues. But no, this time, they were pretty dead set on attacking me. So I don't know what the deal was. Maybe it's just Eclipse and I don't remember it from Eclipse, but yeah. So, unfortunately, but fortunately, we don't get a poly or a plimp, but we do get the Tentabobble. Now, people, the Tentabobble is better than the Chronobobble, 100%. And especially on Artificer, the Tentabobble is amazing because I basically get to infinite trap Mithrix now. Because with the Ice Spear, Ice Wall, and the Tentabobble, Mithrix is basically stuck in place for the whole fight. It's basically not even a fight at that point. It's just me dogging on him. So I'm pretty much set. I just spend a lot of time here trying to get as many items as you can, because you never know what you might find. It could be useful. And then I obviously waste some time. Well, I wouldn't call it a waste, but I spend a lot of time going to scrap right now. I speed this up even more because obviously scrapping and printing takes like 18 years in this game. I know why, but I don't know why at the same time. Like, would I use that mod that speeds it up? Yes, but it's Eclipse 8 and I'm trying to do it for real. You know, I don't even pick up any lunar items despite the fact that there's like plenty of lunar pods I could take, and I obviously have enough coins for it because hashtag coin cheat. But yeah, this is really important, that printer. I decide to basically print 10 armor-piercing rounds because more damage on Mithrix is better than no damage on Mithrix. And I save the rest for the cauldrons, not realizing that it's 3 for a green cauldron instead of 5. Come on, I've played enough this game, I should remember that. Like, there should be no questions about that. But yeah, I'm stupid and I wasn't paying attention, and it was like 11 at night when I did this, so I decide that I'm just going to go over and look at the pods and maybe try to find them my crusty key, because you never know what you could get. And honestly, this was an extremely good decision. It normally isn't that good of a decision, but the Kajaros band right here saves the whole run. It doesn't save the whole run, but it really, really helps because I get off the stage 4 Mithrix skip, and I usually end up dying on stage 4 Mithrix because I just get boofed on by my own items. MF shoots out his little needle gun, and I get like hit with bleed and collapse or something stupid that I have, and it just dogs on me. So having the stage 4 skip is just a really great godsend. And I go around the entire stage just to find that I flew right over the thing, and it had a polyloot in it. So I'm more than set. I have no doubts that I'm about to just destroy Mithrix right here. And I don't even need a pillar skip because I'm Artificer, and Artificer doesn't need a pillar skip when she has Ion Surge. So that's pretty epic. And here I go, boof on Mithrix. I kind of mess up right there. For some reason, head stompers don't do like any damage there for some reason. I don't know if it's just my bands weren't up or whatever, but it just felt like they didn't do any damage. Not that it matters though, because I'm just basically trying to insta-freeze Mithrix at this point. And it kind of works, it kind of doesn't. I'm very bad at placing my walls. It's been quite some time since I've actually tried to play Artificer competitively, I guess is a good term for it. The ad phase I thought was going to be hell, but it honestly, with the Tentabobble, it was absolutely no sweat locking the flying enemies in place so I could actually hit them with my shots and not be, you know, dog water at hitting things with Flame Bolt was essential. And stage 3 basically becomes a joke, except for these stupid little ball things. These stupid ball chimera think that they so cool shooting me. It gets real frustrating. But I just keep focusing Mithrix. I spend time trying to put a wall down to catch the balls, but you know how it is. I once again keep insta-freezing Mithrix. He's literally just stuck. He gets off pizza once, and then I see that he's very, very close. So I hit him with the saw to get off the fire, and boom. Stage 4 Mithrix skipped without any issues. I dog on him by putting an ice wall for no reason, and yeah, fly off. So that was my Artificer E8 run. Not really much to talk about. You know, the best things I could have done was probably spend less time on stages 2 and 4 and 5, and just basically once I knew I had enough items, just go, straight to Mithrix. But it is what it is. I still won the run, and like I said, the more items that you have, the easier it becomes. And especially in this case, that was definitely the right call. So, if you like this video, if you like the commentary, definitely, leave a like, leave a comment. Let me know if you want to see more of my E8 runs, or if you want a shorter version of maybe E8 tips and tricks for Artificer. I would be happy to help. Anyway, have a good one.